Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review, where it is Newcastle United 4, Aston Villa 0, the review. Quite a result at St James's Park yesterday. Not so much the first half, bit of a dodgy first half, easily forgettable. Villa clearly came to stifle us and try and, knock the game out of Newcastle's stride, but, well, they didn't. And I think Aston Villa have a long way to go this season. A few of the Villa tweets, including our good old friend Villa Watch, said obviously the T expects Villa to absolutely annihilate us at our Villa Park later on in the season. But I don't think so, Sunshine. You are one deluded man, I can tell you that now. Danielle, you're fresh back from the ladies' game, of course. Last minute winner for Katie Barker. Absolute scenes at the ground. And what did you think of the well, it's a good weekend for both the men and women.
Absolutely. Another great weekend. We had the same last weekend. We've got another one this weekend. I thought the Villa game, first half was just dead stop and starty, wasn't it? Like, you just couldn't, the ball was out of play more times than it was in play. Second half, we just switched it on. In terms of the women's game, it was a complete opposite. So the second half of the women's game was exactly like the first half of the men's game, just stopping and starting. Barnsley were very much trying to waste time. There was a nice two-footed challenge by a Barnsley player in the second half, which took out the linesman and one of the Newcastle players, and came into the crowd as well, which was crazy. But good on Katie Barker. What a number 9 she is. What a number 9. She
definitely puts the work in, doesn't she? She's really, really talented footballer. Mr. Stato, good win yesterday. What did you think of the overall performance? I mean, really, first half we can literally forget about, really, can't we? I mean, Villa had a game plan, but we just destroyed them in the second half, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it was unlucky with the concussion. And then the other part of it was them trying to delay the game. It was, some of it was sincere, some of it was on purpose, and that, we were playing sloppy passes. We couldn't quite get our rhythm going. Yeah, we like the game to flow. They want to play football at the end of the day. It's not like we used to, where we used to thrive off having it stop start in our favour. This time we want it to be flowing. Yeah, and then the second half, it did flow. It flowed a lot more. I think the referee had one of the worst first halves of refereeing I've seen in a very long time. And I'm going to mention it because it's important to mention it when we win, so it doesn't just sound like we're whinging when we're losing. Awful refereeing in that first half. Terrible. Second half, fortunately, it didn't matter because we were just so much better than them. And second half was outrageous. It's starting to click now in terms of the passing triangles. Playing some long balls and linking up. I think it started, we had that small period, 25, 30 minutes against Everton. And since then, it's getting better and better and better. Just the link-up play is immense. And ultimately, I think they were I think there's a couple of teams this season are very fortunate. We've not put 6 or 7 past them. They've been saved by the post and the crossbar. Multiple teams have, so... Great win.
Yeah, I mean, Billy, I was listening to you, watching you coming back in the car yesterday from the day out with Lillian for her birthday, and it obviously the substitutes, when they came on, the game kind of stifled out, didn't it? It was it went a bit quiet after that, but you have to say, I mean, the amount of times that we hit the post, hit the bar. Murphy came on, had a brilliant shot against the post. Callum Wilson could have had a hat-trick, hit the bar. It was just one of those games where we absolutely pelted them second half, and topped off by Mr. Almiron again with just a wonderful goal. And you know what? if Messi had been scoring these goals on a weekly basis, it would be all over Sky Sports News for the next 6 years, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's a weekly masterclass, isn't it? Of goal of the month contenders. He's doing it every week.
Yeah.
And he's got that range now from 25 yards in out. You know, he hits the target every time, and he don't just hit the target. He hits the side netting every single time, and the goalies have got no chance. Phenomenal finish yesterday. Absolute phenomenal finish. Yeah, and the subs did kind of stifle the game as it went on. But Murphy did well when he came on, hit the post, as you said. Wilson hitting the bar. We could have scored 8 or 9 without any danger at all, really. They were very poor. We were excellent second half. The momentum got us further and further ahead of them. They're not rivals of ours anymore, as much as I'll tell you that they are. Absolutely not. They'll be looking to stay up this season.
Yeah, I think you're right. By the way, guys, just to let you know, this is a double header tonight on the Toon Review. We've got this review show, and then at 8 o'clock, we've got the Loaded lads back with us. So that should be a good bit of banter and a good laugh on there to finish your weekend off. Talking about Newcastle, we'll also have some laughs on there, no doubt, as well. So make sure you tune in at 8 o'clock for that one as well. Samsonite Dove says, one detail I think got overlooked a little yesterday was how clever it was to have Joelinton pull a yellow card so he can serve his suspension against the Saints because we need him much more against Chelsea. Do you think that was in his mind, Danielle?
Nah.
No?
I don't. No, I really don't. I think, it's a shame that he'll be missing on Sunday, but I think we'll manage. I think we'll be absolutely fine. You know what Joe's like. You know, he sees the opportunity and he goes for it. And sometimes it does result in a yellow card. And that's just happen when you get a player like Joe. You have to take that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Now, Billy, I'm sure, right? I'm pretty sure that I heard you say the words. Sean Longstaff. No. We'll come on to him. That Sean Longstaff, I think you used the word magnificent during the watch along. Now, Gary says, I'm giving a big shout out to Longstaff. Despite one mistake, he worked his socks off and was an integral part of the team and the press yesterday.
Absolutely.
Billy, sum it up for us.
That was his best game. I've seen him playing the Newcastle shirt by a country mile. Everything, he was at the heart of everything we did that was bright. He worked his socks off. He did give the ball away a couple of times, but in the main, he was absolutely superb. And serious to God, if he can maintain that form, then the lad's got a big future in Newcastle United because he was superb yesterday. Absolutely superb.
Now, Alex, you're nodding your head. I take you agree with that.
Yeah, 100%. I've been saying he's been more than adequate for a long time. He had to do a job trying to play in the 6 role, which was quite difficult. And then when Bruno came back, he pushed on into the 8. And he's had some strange moments. He had some passes that went awry yesterday, but the overall performance is there. He is good enough. He's a reasonably good Premier League player. I say reasonably good. He's outperforming. You know, he's in the team when we're winning every week. So it's if people are going to use that about Chris Wood, I'm damn well going to use it about Sean Longstaff. So
well, we're not going to talk about Chris Wood because that miss at the end was just a joke. That just sums the guy up. I mean, listen, I want him nowhere near a starting 11 for Newcastle United. I don't understand these people that can stick up for him anymore. That was a simple goal for him yesterday, and he fluffed it. And you know, Billy, I know you couldn't believe it when he missed it. It was just it should have been 5, and he squandered his chance, Billy.
Yeah, I think it fell to his wrong hoof. If I'm perfectly honest,
his wrong hoof, yes, possibly.
It was shocking. The fact he didn't anticipate that. It was a simple tap in. I think I'd have scored it. If I'm perfectly honest, yeah, outrageous miss. A man short of confidence, let's say.
Short of something.
Yeah, Longstaff with 1 goal and 2 assists and 9 starts. That's not bad.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Well, it's a good return. Listen, we've. I mean, look, me included. We've had little bits of digs here and there at Sean Longstaff, but what we can see in Longstaff is improvement, and that's what we want to see. And if Eddie can get him back to that sort of form that he was playing under Rafa, then we've got a real player again. Now, will he be part of the future? Who knows? We don't know. But if he could, like Billy said earlier on, if he continues performing like that, things may be very, very different outlook for Sean Longstaff in the future. but we will see. Sai says, good evening all. What a game. What a team. I'm still buzzing. We fear no one. Daniel says, good evening. Damien says, anyone remember Shearer getting sent off against Villa and Kieran Dyer and Leader? Well, I don't think that'll ever be forgotten, to be honest. Yeah. Paul, good evening. Fantastic second half performance yesterday and loved Joe getting a goal. I mean, yeah, Danielle, I mean, it was just so nice to see Big Joe back on the score sheet, and good on him as well, because he followed that rebound in, didn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely did. And, you know, I think he's full of confidence. He just needed that goal, and the fact that he still pressed, he still chased the ball, even though, you know, it was a rebound. Fantastic for Joe. I mean, I'm over the moon. Every week I always say Joe's going to score. Joe's going to score. This week it'll be Joe, but I'm so pleased that he's finally done it. Well done.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, Alex, he scores in front of the Brazil manager. He can't do much more, can he?
Indeed.
Well, I think that was a very good audition for him, to be fair, because it's interesting because his primary position was meant to be the left wing, but it's almost, you can't really label it as a position because he kind of just had a role. His role was float between midfield and attack, depending on the phase of play and kind of what's going on around you. And he was able to kind of almost play two positions, depending on, and Willock as well had a little bit more of a quiet game, but he was able to rotate. Nice, tidy shots on target. He was getting to the byline, getting the ball out of feet, crossing it in every time, getting it out, which is really, really impressive. And then he got the goal because he was switched on. A couple of times he lost the ball. He went and chased it down and won it back on his own. Really, really good audition. He can't do any more than that in front of the Brazil manager. So very, very well done to him.
I think we've got to realise as well that players will lose the ball. On occasions, they will lose the ball. Every single player loses the ball. It's how they react to that. And like you say, Alex, you know, he chased it down, won it back, and that's all we can ask of Big Joe. Ian says, a question for you guys. What a performance after the Villa knob stopped rolling around on the floor. Who is sick of the press link and Bruno to everyone? Look, I think we're in a position now where we are having these wonderful players at Newcastle United. They're going to be linked with other teams. The difference is this time is we are not a selling club. We don't buy these players to make a profit on. Bruno has been bought to win things. And everybody that we now bring into the football club is being brought in to win things, not to sell on. So it doesn't matter. You know, personally, I feel like the way it is, the players are getting linked to other clubs. That just says how well we're doing. You know, if all our players are getting linked to different teams, it's a sign of how good our football club is now. But the major difference is, Danielle, we don't have to sell.
Yeah, the way I see it is, in the past when we've been really, really concerned about, I remember, you know, back in the day, we were worried about Maxi going because he wanted, you know, the teams were sniffing around him. And at that point, we were, you know, bottom of the league. We had nothing to offer. We had nothing in terms of team spirit or anything. And now, you know, the performance every week speaks for themselves. So why would a player go anywhere else? Like, for what reason?
Yeah.
You know, I understand that teams like Chelsea have Champions League football right now, but the way we're playing, we could be in Europe, you know, next season. So why wouldn't you want to be part of something so amazing?
Yeah.
So I'm quite confident. I'm absolutely confident. Doesn't worry me at all.
Alex, are you getting annoyed at the Bruno being linked, or are you just thinking, well, you know what I mean? It's good in a way because it just shows how good our football club is now.
I mean, I'm not bothered. I think the Real Madrid one was legitimate because Bruno has responded to that directly in his own interviews. And then the rest is just speculation and just to try and get extra media coverage and attention. He's not going. If Rice had £150 million price tag slapped on him, Bruno is arguably of a similar quality. It's not going to happen, especially not to a rival. Not in the current, you know, the current situation is to progress the project towards Champions League football and trying to then kick on and challenge for trophies. And he is a big part of that. It's not going to happen. He's not going to go to an English club unless somebody like City comes in and bids 150, 160, and it starts to get silly money, then maybe. But
that's you also have to consider that Bruno doesn't want to go either. You know what I mean? It's all right for these clubs to come in and say, oh, you know, we'll pay this, we'll pay that. But Bruno as a player, you know, he's come out and he seems like a very honest guy, and he loves it here. You know, so
he's just come to the country. He's just spent the last 6 months learning English. He's just got his son here. he's started like quite a number of commitments here. I'd imagine it's at least going to be another 2 to 3 years before he even considers if he wants anything else in his career.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, in other words, Billy, don't let it bother you.
No, it's just this. I mean, we should be quite honoured that the press are linking our players with these supposedly big clubs, because it's a way of them selling papers, isn't it? I'm more concerned with the fans of these said clubs believing it and trying to rub our noses in it. It ain't going to work. He ain't going anywhere.
Well, I wish they'd just give up, to be honest. The saltiness is incredible. It just keeps
it's poor banner for
growing.
me. Yeah, you got no else.
Yeah, I know. It just grows and grows and grows, doesn't it? Angelica says, hello, everyone. I've had my lunch made for me and taken out for a massive ice cream. So I'm sitting here in my jammies, tuning into my favourite people online, over the moon with yesterday. Tony says, hi, Paul, Danielle, Billy, and Alex. Another great win. We could have scored at least 6 if it weren't for the woodwork. Absolutely.
Indeed.
David says, we're chasing Arsenal down. Yes. The Devious Orange says, it was once believed that the ocean was the saltiest part of the planet, but now it's Birmingham. I can't disagree with that at the minute. They are.
No, we'll Southampton next week.
Yeah,
you know their manager's like, oh
God, Mr. Hassan Hoodle, pot noodle. Yeah. It's time for his whinging. Devon says, it's amazing how far we've come in the space of a year. This is crazy. Long may it continue, and Miggy is scoring worldies. He is scoring worldies. He doesn't seem to be able to score a normal goal now. It's just incredible. I mean, the technique for yesterday's goal, Alex, was we're so used to that now. Him cutting from the left, and people seem to know what he's going to do, but can't catch him.
I mean, what was it? 3 or 4 weeks ago, I said he's starting to play like prime Juan Mata. I think now that is 100% a fair comparison, because that just cut in left foot every time. It's filthy. It's literally every second or third shot, because he doesn't take a high volume of shots. He makes sure he's got the right space before he pulls the trigger, but they are going in every other shot or every third shot. He's so clinical with it. And
seems to have a lot more confidence with his shooting now, doesn't he? Because like we've said many times on shows previous, that when we see Miggy shoot now, there's conviction behind it. When we saw him, even last season, or there was no conviction in his shots, Danielle. They were flying over the bar or ending up in the strawberry. It just had nothing, or they were powder puff. Now it just gets his head up. He knows where he wants to put it, and he hits it.
Comes down to confidence for me, and I just think he's scored one, and then all of a sudden he's thinking, actually, obviously we don't see all of the amazing work that he's putting in the training ground and with the coaches, and obviously that goal sparked him off, and he just loves it. Like, he's absolutely a different player for me, and I know Alex is probably going to go, I told you so, because he was saying that, this season.
Yeah.
But what a player, man! What a player! Look at. And this is why I don't buy all of these, it's because they've got money. It's because they've got money.
They can't use that excuse, because we haven't spent near enough of what other teams have.
And the players that are standing up are the players that were here pre-takeover.
Yeah.
So Almiron, Joe, Wilson, the players are really standing up and being counted and fighting for their place. It's just an incredible place to be right now, this city. Incredible.
It is. Right, I'm going to put to bed this 6 substitute thing. Villa made 6 subs simply because they had a concussion, right, which enables them to have an extra substitute. Now, because of that, we are allowed an extra substitute, so we can have 6 subs. Now, I know a lot of people didn't know that rule, but that is the rule. Because they were able to make 6 substitutions because of the head injury to Martinez, we are then allowed to make 6 substitutions, as in it is only right that if they make 6 substitutions, then the opposition should as well. So that is the rules, guys. Villa fans say we cheated. Well, listen, they'll clutch at every straw in the land, those absolute... I mean, listen, I've seen quite a few nice tweets today from Villa fans when I've been reading them this afternoon, just saying, oh, well done to Newcastle. They're doing things right. They're doing it the right way. They are proper football fans, right? They understand the game. But the likes of Villa Watch, etc., who just talk absolute nonsense and bitterness and saltiness are not proper football fans. They don't understand the game of football, right? We haven't gone out and spent billions and billions. We've targeted players, gone and got them, and we're building slowly. Villa, you've got a long way to go. And the normal Villa fans will understand that. They know how far they've got to go because they are nowhere near where we are at the moment. Even though they thought that at the start of the season, they're not. They've got Emery has a massive, massive job on his hands to get Villa anywhere near the top half, never mind out of relegation. So, look, they've got to try and attract players as well, Billy, which isn't going to be easy because we know what it's like down there over Christmas when the transfer window reopens. You're battling against relegation. It's difficult.
I think they're going to struggle. I just can't see Emery being the man to change things around for him. He's a very pragmatic manager, let's say. He likes to build from defence. The defenders he's got there, without Carlos being fit, are shockers, every single one of them. The whole of that back four yesterday were awful, every one of them. From Mateusz Kaszki right back all the way across to the left back.
Matty Cash, that renowned Polish right back. A very strange one, that one. AG says, we are winning this league. Trust me. Just got that feeling. Man City and Arsenal will slip up and Spurs ain't good enough. Come on, the Mags. Love you guys. AG, that is very confident. Francisco says, I don't know if you lot noticed, Miggy's shot is the one he's been attempting every game at least once. He is confident of that shot, and it finally showed yesterday. And listen,
winning at pace and hitting that ball in stride, it's amazing technique. And we've seen the technique pick up from him. The finesse volley against Fulham, that goal yesterday.
He shot with his right at some point in the game as well.
Yes,
he's using his right.
Can you imagine, guys, if Maxi starts to, perfect that as well, running at pace and hitting a shot? We've got two fantastic wingers all of a sudden who can score lots of goals, Alex.
Yeah, if Maxi comes back in the same form he was against City and Wolves, just before the injury, he was on fire. If we get that Maxi back as well, and then Joelinton in midfield, and Joelinton having some stints in left wing will be great as well. It will mean that they can be quite rotational. Joelinton can go and join the attack and be even more competent. It's going to be incredible. And then Isak arguably doesn't even get on the pitch. It's impossible to drop Miggy. And if Maxi will come back first, and if Maxi comes back and is in form, you can't drop him. You can't drop Wilson. Eddie Howe won't drop people in form anyway. No. Not even if they're not in form. If we win, he won't drop them. Even if they've had a poor game, if we win, he won't drop people. So Isak is going to have a massive job to try and get back into this 11 in January.
Isn't it amazing, though, that we are actually saying that now? When we signed Isak, we would never have turned around and said that we have a £60 million forward who is going to struggle to get back in the team after an injury. I never thought in a million years that I'd be saying or we'd be talking about those words. It is incredible. AG says, don't know whether you agree, guys, but I don't think we need Maxi in the team as much as I like him. Well, not at the minute, but look, things will change. Players will go in a dip in form, etc. That will happen.
I think we always need Maxi.
Of course we do. Of course we need Maxi. And I think just because we're winning a few games doesn't mean that Maxi suddenly becomes irrelevant, because he doesn't. We know how Maxi plays the game. We need players like Maxi in the squad. But it's nice to be able to call it a squad now. We were saying not long ago that we didn't really have a decent squad. But all of a sudden, these squad players have stepped up to the plate when the starting 11 players have been injured and have gone out and done it. And done it regularly, which is...
It makes you feel proud, doesn't it? I feel so proud of them. I just really do. I'm glad to be proven wrong. Really, really glad.
People talk about Maxi not necessarily needing him. These teams are going to start being concerned about our right-hand side. People are going to start paying a lot more attention to Trippier. They're going to be a lot more attentive to what Miggy's going to do. And they're going to try and put more men to it. And they're going to try and set up for it. So if we've then got Maxi back on that left, they can't do both, because people arguably have to go and pay respects to Maxi on whether you think Maxi's good or not. If you leave him unmarked, he's bloody dangerous. So trying to balance defending both sides in that are both in good form will be incredible for us. That means we score 5 or 6 in that game minimum, and that means when we play tougher teams like that Man United game, if we had that balance on both sides, we arguably could have got a win, and in some of the closer matches as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Ian, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, Bonnell was nearly crying on TalkSport last night.
Oh, you know what? I mean, he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. It
was a big shame.
If I was him, I would have phoned in sick.
We just didn't turn up. We didn't turn up.
Just don't know what happened to Villa yesterday. He was shy. Absolutely shy.
Well, maybe he'll turn around and stop saying now that for 10 grand less, he'd rather go to Brentford. Sunshine. Talking absolute bollocks. Ian says Sean was a beast. Ab says Longstaff was solid. Nothing more, nothing less. Well, solid's good, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Claude says some are saying all of the top 6 teams at the moment, Newcastle is the only one that does not travel out of England during the week to play. I don't understand.
They don't have the squad depth of some of the other teams either. So,
very true, Alex. Yeah, very true. Yeah. I mean, what can we do about that, though? Sweet FA. So, well, yeah, I mean,
we're soon going to be doing something about that. But it's not our problem that we can't do it at the minute. But we will.
Well, when we get to the cup finals, you see, like all of the cup finals that we're going to be in, because we're immense, we're going to have loads of games to play, aren't we? So,
absolutely.
I mean,
If it's that much of a problem, then I'm happy for us to sub into a European place right now. Like, if Man United don't want to play, we'll go play your European games for you. That's fine.
Guys, I think we just need to simply do this for, comments like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sprinkle the salt. Just sprinkle the salt, guys. That's all we need to do. Ricard, thank you for your 100 Swedish krona. He says, I have a strange question. In England, it's very usual to have chants for players. But in most countries in Europe, 99% of the chants are about the club. And you need to be a legend to get a chant. Well, they are legends in our own special way. These guys are legends. Actually, it was fun. I watched Alan Pearson's video yesterday, his game vlogging, upstairs in Wonderbar before the game.
My God,
game.
What was it like?
When they announced the players, they've got a song for literally every single player. What a fantastic atmosphere that is, and just getting you in the mood for the game. You know what I mean? When that happens. Brilliant.
Absolutely. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I just thought this is what I mean. Like, I still can't believe this is happening. I can't believe it's happening.
It's incredible. It really is.
And Michael Marsden said the same today. He can't believe it. It's still it's happening to us. It feels crazy.
It's incredible. And of course, Liverpool losing as well. What a shock result that was. I tell you, I didn't expect them to lose to Leeds. I really didn't. But hey,
it's more frustrating than the first one, because we would have been third.
Yeah. Well, we were third at one stage. I did take a screenshot of when we were third for, that brief 20 minutes or whatever it was. Ian says the effort that Sean puts in takes him up 2 levels. Glenn, lots of players misplaced passing in the first half. Don't pick on Longstaff. Move on to the next scapegoat. No one's picking on Longstaff. This is what I mean, right? Glenn, we are praising Longstaff. Billy has said magnificent. We've all said that.
He might have been responding to other commenters. It might have been
maybe, but I'm still ranting about it because look, we are fully behind Sean Longstaff and the fact that he's now, yes. Have we slated him? Absolutely. Did he deserve it? Absolutely. But he's turning the corner like Joelinton did. We are starting to see a very different Sean Longstaff, like Miggy has done. Yes. Players are starting to respond to this whatever Eddie's doing with them. They are responding really well, and it's fantastic to watch. So, yes, don't make Sean Longstaff a scapegoat anymore because he's not. He's part of this team that's gone on such a winning run. And yes, he loses the ball from time to time. So do all the other 10 players that are on the pitch with him. Nick Pope sometimes kicks the ball straight out of play. We don't have a go at Nick Pope like that. So let's just get behind them. We're on a winning run, man. Let's just go and celebrate this instead of bloody negative Nellies coming out left, right, and centre. There's enough saltiness against us from previous other bloody Bell End fan bases. Not anymore. Anyway, Steve says Longstaff, the more he plays, the better he's getting. I agree with that, and exactly.
The reason he got a 3-year contract from Eddie Howe at the end of last season, I said this at the time, he's not going to give him 3 years is a long time. He doesn't get that contract if Eddie Howe doesn't think there's something there.
Yeah.
So I trust in Eddie's opinion based on what we've seen so far with everything.
Here we go again. Doug Stake. Paul, you seem to have issues with Longstaff. Why is that? You have seen issues with Wood. So what? He missed. Get over it, Paul. We win as a team. Doug!
He missed what?
Naff off, right? Simple as that. I have done nothing but tonight praise Sean Longstaff. And if you think that Chris Wood deserves praise, please put in the comments why. Because he is simply awful. He is an awful footballer. Sean Longstaff is one of our own. He's getting better by every single game, and he was brilliant yesterday. What more do you expect me to say, Doug? Now you're going to take your face for a shite and get on with life, sunshine. Yes, Danielle.
Is there a reason that Fabian Shaw's got an exclamation mark over his head and the Premier League app saying he's injured? Does anyone know about that?
Because
No.
they don't have a clue, probably. Why would he be injured?
Don't know. Saying he's had a knock or something, or hamstring. It says hamstring.
He was holding it yesterday, well, before he went off. I noticed that.
Yeah. Listen, he might have a slight strain, but,
Anyway, that's a way.
The guy hobbles off every game. You know what I mean? It's not like Fabian Schär ever walks off the pitch in a condition that you think, oh, he's fit as a fiddle. He always walks off like he needs to be on crutches or something. And then by the time we kick off 2 days later, he's like bloody Linford Christie again. So
they probably just got it wrong.
Absolutely.
Be careful with these injuries as well. I've got a bone to pick with Jordan Cronin as well. I'm going to ask the Loaded lads later because he wrote an article for Newcastle World saying fresh Newcastle United injury concern as Eddie Howe explains Sven Botman substitution, which sounds like Sven Botman's got an injury. And if you actually read the article, it's not. He includes Eddie Howe's comments, which say, no, we just took him off.
Just give him a rest.
So, people
Not helpful, is it?
People trying to make, there's a few people going around talking about, but injuries this, injuries that, when it's just clickbait. It needs to stop. So,
absolutely. Sean says Wood is 10 yards behind everyone else in the team. Oh God, Sean, don't have a go, Wood.
Don't have an opinion. No.
Doug Steakenberger will come right for you. He'll come for you. Devon says, I have to say, guys, what happened to Jacob Murphy when he came? He was great for those 20 minutes and looking not to score. This is just shows how Eddie Howe is getting the best out of our subs as well. Well Murphy's been playing well for quite a few weeks, whether it be on the bench or in the starting 11 to be fair. Francisco says, I don't like Wood any more than the next guy, but it's fair to say those are shots you will that's more like it for Wood, to be honest. You will miss when you don't have regular playing time. Note, I don't want him getting regular playing time.
I mean, he wasn't scoring when he was playing regularly.
Exactly. Yeah. We're probably the team with the highest number of goals denied by the goalpost.
Absolutely.
Goalpost, VAR, everything.
I can check.
Gary says, Doug Steak, it's all about opinions. We all have one. Yeah, but the problem is, Gary, he can't get his opinion correct. Slagging me off for, having to go to Sean Longstaff when all I've done is praise the lad. So tonight I have. And listen, if they don't play very well, I'll call them out and say you didn't play very well. But Longstaff is turning the corner. And listen, I'm happy. I'm really happy to have egg on my face with all these players that are suddenly turning into, Eddie Howe is working miracles with them. We all said we'd love to throw egg in our faces if Joelinton became a player or Miggy became they're doing it.
Couldn't agree more.
But people still want to nitpick at little things just to be so negative. Dear God. Geordie Howe says, loved Willock expression when he was congratulating Miggy. Listen, anyone with depression should just look at Miggy smiling. It would make your day, to be honest.
I just love him so much.
Yeah. Spacebar says we just need Willock to get one to get him firing as well.
Absolutely.
Tom says Longstaff was bruised. He looked class under Rafa, completely shot under Bruce. It's taken a bit of time, but he's coming back. I think like J7 and Miggy, people will be eating humble pie. And that's exactly what we want, Tom.
And
we
I'll
want
be glad
to eat
to do
humble
so.
pie.
I'll be absolutely glad to do so. I'll be over the moon.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Villa yesterday, Alex, 3 shot attempts, none on target. Now, is that because Villa are totally shit, or we are now just a defensive tank?
A lot of it was down to just the defenders. There were a few times where they were a little bit out of position. Well, not out of position. It was purely just because of how we set up. So Trippier's high up. A couple of times early on where they got down into that half space because Trippier was further forward. So Shah had to come and clean up. But a few of the lads were so switched on, they would make last-minute blocks or they would come across and defend and slide. 9 times out of 10, that was either Dan Burn or Sven Botman. They would get in right at the last minute and prevent it. So they weren't even getting those shots away. So even if they did get the shots away, they've still got to then get past Pope and the post and the crossbar.
Yeah.
So we're set up in such a way that it's really hard to try and get those shots away. And even when people do try and pull the trigger, the lads are going to put their whole body on the line, just throw their faces in, slide in, multiple. There's always 3, 4, 5 lads in front of potential shots ready. They're not. It's not easy to even get shots away at us at the moment. I think so. Everton were no shots, Villa were no shots, and who was the other one? I think there was another one we played at home. Wasn't it that had no shots? We've had 2 or 3 games recently where teams have just had no shots against us on target. They're really struggling now.
Well, in the words of Danielle, it's because we're just massive.
Oh, it's Sean Longstaff's
We're
birthday
not
today
even
as well.
massive
It is,
anymore.
yes.
I think we've moved from massive to gigantic.
Okay.
Well, I don't
I
think
think
we
we're
can
gigantic.
underestimate that challenge that Dan Burn made on Danny Ings in the first half, because it was a goal all ends up. And if Dan Burn hadn't made that fantastic challenge, could give a penalty away. But it was an awesome challenge. He left Ings in a heap in the penalty area. Absolutely superb channel, tackle, and saved us a goal. And it could have been a different game if they scored first, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't, Billy. I think even if they scored first, we still would have tongued them, because we don't. Heads don't go down when we concede. It's like, right, get on with it. Let's go again. And that's the confidence that I have in this team now. When was the last time we would be able to say, it doesn't matter if we go 1-0 down, we know we'll bounce back? Because normally, under previous regimes, we've capitulated. But Johnny Toon for Life says, I can remember someone saying Miggy didn't have the physique for the Premier League, even in Paul. Yes, I did say that. And look,
Me too.
I stand corrected.
Paul, you're not on your own. I said
No,
Joelinton was a
I know.
terrible player last October.
Exactly.
So,
This is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about, is being made to eat our words. And we love to do that.
Have opinions, and we're allowed to be wrong. And
yeah.
And that's number 8 or number 10. We're probably right in that, but playing on the work.
Yeah, but nobody could tell me that, Miggy was performing. I mean, he wasn't scoring. This is what we want from Miggy. He's there to do this. I mean, he is there to score goals. I mean, it just so happens he's scoring worldies week in, week out at the minute. But listen, he's improving, and that's what we want to see. We've got to manage. This is the difference, though, here, is under Steve Bruce, we didn't have a manager who could work with these players to improve them. Now, we have a manager who spends time with individual players and works on their game as well as the team game. And that is why we're seeing Miggy come to fruition, Joelinton come to fruition. All these players, Sean Longstaff now coming into fruition. This is what Eddie Howe does. And this is why he is such a fantastic manager. And Steve Bruce isn't. Because Steve Bruce can't work with these players. He can't develop players. This is the difference. And this is what Eddie Howe's doing. And my God, am I glad to eat my own words about Miggy and Sean Longstaff, etc. Because that's what I want to do as a Newcastle fan. I want to be wrong and be proved wrong by these players week in, week out. And that is what's happening. And I'm bloody happy about it. So anyone trying to have a dig at me for saying, I know you're not Geordie Toon for Life, you're having a laugh, that's fair enough, but people are. Some people will have a dig and say, you were wrong. Yes, I was, and I'm bloody happy about it. I wasn't the only one that...
Because I got hammered. Yeah. I got hammered last year. In the final couple of months of the season, I got hammered for praising certain players and for saying they might be better. There's underlying stats suggesting they're improving. I got absolutely hammered. So I'm willing to stand here and say, I'm going to be bitter about it.
I think it's apparent now. I think it's apparent now that the Newcastle United job, too big a club for Steve Bruce. He's fine being manager of shit clubs like Aston Villa and Sunderland. Should have stuck with that kind of level of shit. But coming to us with too big for him, and that's without twatting the comments.
Well done, Billy, for bringing the shit into it again. Well done.
About the posts as well and the woodwork, we've hit the woodwork 11 times. Arsenal have hit the woodwork 5, and Man City also 5. So we've hit the woodwork more than double. First and second place in the league. So we are getting very unlucky with that bloody post. Even Jacob Murphy in his Instagram post is very self-aware of the fact he hits the post a lot. He even mentioned it. So we just need to try and get those post shots to go in, and we'd have even more wins.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, at the end of the day, these, you can stay as bitter as you want, Alex, right? But it doesn't matter. You had your opinion on Miggy and you backed it up, and that's fair enough. But and it was football discussion. But people can be wrong. And what I love about these players now is they're proving a lot of players wrong, because it wasn't just a few guys on this channel. A lot of people were saying it, whether it be on YouTube or on TV or on social media. Everybody was saying it, but you can be proved wrong, and that's what we love to see from these players.
I'd
proving us wrong.
to go and
You know what I don't like? I don't like finger pointers, me. I don't like it.
Yeah.
You said this. You said that.
Oh, how dare you?
I just don't like finger pointers. It's just rude.
Yeah.
But I'd encourage people to go and actually check up on things before you say, "Oh, this player's crap because he's crap." Go and have a look at why. What was he not making those passes that you thought he should be making because of an instruction? This is what we always used to talk about Maxi when he wouldn't follow a runner. We don't know what the coaching instructions are necessarily from game to game, what the exact game plans are.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
hard to, as fans, we don't know what the managers and the coaching staff know.
But that's my point, Alex. Under Steve Bruce, we can clearly see now that he wasn't bothered about working with players. He didn't have the talent to work with players, which is why we're seeing Eddie Howe and the rest of his coaching staff who actually spend time working with these players and wanting to develop them. Eddie Howe has already said numerous times, as soon as he came into Newcastle, he saw potential in a numerous amount of players and thought, this team shouldn't be where it is, not with these players. So what he's done is, him and his coaching staff got together, they've worked out a plan, and they said, right, we're going to do this with Joelinton, we're going to do this with Miggy, we're going to do this with Sean, and it's all now starting to develop. It takes a while. It doesn't happen overnight. But these players are now showing exactly what they can do because Eddie Howe saw that, in training. He saw that in them and believes in them. Steve Bruce didn't. He gave them more days off than he did work with players. And that is why Steve Bruce is a failure. And you see managers like Eddie Howe and etc. who want to develop players and want to turn these players into very, very good Premier League players, and that is exactly what Eddie Howe is doing with our squad, and you can only take your hat off to him. And the players as well for responding to that and working with Eddie. They could easily turn around and say, well, I'm good enough already. You know what some footballers are like? They think they're better than they are. But these bunch of players are now believing in what Eddie is doing with them and believing in what he's telling them. And they're going on the pitch and doing it, and it's having massive rewards. So there's a big difference between the way you have to look at your managers of your football team and what they did with certain players. I will back myself up and say I did not think Miggy was playing very well. Sean was playing very well. I thought Joelinton never looked a footballer in a million years. But God, I'm right. I'm so proud to be wrong.
Indeed.
Simple as that.
I agree with you.
Anyway, it is now time to move on to the player ratings. This should be very interesting, to be honest, because after such a good win, we'll do what we normally do. We'll go around the table, and the highest average is what they'll score. Alex, we'll start with you with Nick Pope, who really didn't have a lot to do yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few people give him 8s on publications and stuff, and I don't agree with giving them higher scores as a goalkeeper when they've not had saves to make. I think that might be controversial, but I'm going to give him a 7, not because he doesn't deserve higher, but because he didn't do anything. But it's not his fault because Villa were bad. So a 7.
Basically, you want your goalkeeper to get a 7, don't you? In the best way possible.
If the goalkeeper's getting a 10, it means the defense struggled and the goalkeeper had to do lots, right?
Absolutely.
So 7, but it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Peter Joy, thank you for your £4.49. Would love to hear some stats on Longstaff from Stato. He covers a lot of ground. Well, don't worry, we will do some of that because we do have some shows planned on that type of thing as well. So stay tuned for that. Billy Nick Pope.
Yeah, I agree with everything Alex said. Had nothing to do, basically. I could have played in golf in Newcastle United yesterday and it'd be the same results, 7 out of 10.
Well, it would have, because they didn't have a shot on target, Billy. So, yes, you would have kept a clean sheet. So would Danielle. So would I. So would Alex. Danielle, Nick Pope.
I don't care what you say. I'm giving him a 9.
Well, that's very kind of you. I mean, did you have to be so aggressive about that, Danielle?
I don't care. I don't care. I'm giving him a 9. I mean, what a keeper he is. I know he didn't have to do very much, but I mean, for me, I don't think that matters to me. I'm giving him a 9.
Okay. Well, I'm giving him a 7 as well, because I know you sometimes rate with your heart, Danielle, and that's fine. That's why we love your
100%.
prediction.
It's the only way to do it.
Indeed. So he ends up with a 7, but a lot of people are agreeing with that in the chat and quite agreeing with Danielle as well. So it's kind of a mix and match in there. Right. Well, Kieran Trippier, Billy.
9 out of 10. A great performance again. Led from the front. The one moment where he gave Lascelles the captain's armband without Lascelles going to him, he actually went to Lascelles and gave him a right good pat on the shoulder and give him the captain's armband. The man's an absolute. He's a giant. He's a magnificent professional. He's a leader. He starts all the attacks on that right hand side. And again, 9 out of 10. Super.
Absolutely.
Super
yeah. I'm going with a 9. Danielle.
9. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Alex.
Yeah, it's got to be a 9. He got an assist as well.
Yeah.
4 long balls.
Yeah,
3
we did.
crosses. And like Billy said, the giving the armband as well. Considering Billy and myself, we whinged about that a couple of times about faffing around with the armband. I think that was one of the situations where I didn't actually mind it. I kind of like that. That was nice.
Yeah, indeed. Cool. On the other side now, and we'll go with Dan Byrne, Danielle.
I give him a 9.
Yeah.
I thought there was a few, first half, I thought there was a few balls that he didn't quite get to or gave away. But then after that, I thought another outstanding performance from Dan Byrne. So for me, it's a 9.
Cool. I'm going with an 8. Again, I thought he did nothing wrong. There was a couple of that fantastic tackle he made, obviously, as Billy's already alluded to on Danny Ings, I thought was excellent. But I'll give him an 8, Billy.
9 for me. I thought he grew into the game, that tackle as well. I thought he stepped in at centre back and did remarkably well also. Also started the move that led to Mickey's goal. So 9 for me.
Okay. And Alex?
Yeah, I think I might give him a 9 as well this week.
Oh, okay.
I think based on the fact he's had to go from left back to centre back, and swap, both players around him changed as well over the course of the game, and he prevented a goal. You got to remember he's a 30-year-old man who's 6'7", and he's playing effectively almost as a wing back at times.
And let's be honest here. Dan Byrne has played against some speed merchants so far this season, and he's done
down really, has he? So,
no, so yeah. But there you go. That's fine. And so he gets a 9 on average. Moving into the centre, Fabian Schär, Billy Bob.
Not a lot to do, but I'll give him an 8. I thought he was just comfortable everything he did again. And some great passing as usual. Give us 100%. But nothing spectacular because he didn't have to do anything spectacular, but 8 out of 10 for me.
Yep, fair enough. And listen, he's also come out the game with an exclamation mark on his head, which is Danielle.
I'm going to give him a 9.
Okay.
I just think the men's, the whole lot of them in that defence,
just
solid, man, absolutely solid. And I don't know what much more you could have done, really. So for me, I'm not bothered. I'm giving him a 9.
Okay, Alex.
I'll give him an 8.
Okay.
5 long balls again, just keeps it ticking over. And the fact he's got Botman next to him producing such good performances, and he's doing his best not to be overshadowed. He's staying in there. So yeah. Didn't have that much to do after the first half an hour really. So I'll give him an 8.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going with an 8 as well. But because no, 2 of us are giving him an 8. 2 of us are giving him a 9.
I'll move to an 8.
No, we will. No, we don't. Shut up, Alex, with your bloody points.
It's 3 8s.
3 8s.
Yeah.
Who give him an 8?
Me, you, and Alex.
Oh, I thought you gave him a 9, Billy. Sorry. Oh, there you go. He gets an 8. Ashington. Did you see that when Mings wrestled Wilson around the neck?
There was a few times in the first half an hour he fouled Wilson and nothing was given. I'd say at least 3 times.
Outrageous, if you ask me.
Yeah, but listen, Mings is just shocking. He's absolutely dreadful.
And yet, I thought it was their best defender.
Tears it off, Billy, doesn't it?
Yeah, there you go. That really does say a lot. Right, we move across to Batman, and I'm going to start it off with a 9. Again, just he's so composed, man. The guy is just, you know what? He could come onto the pitch in a James Bond suit and just be so suave in that back four. He could. He just suave. So a 9 for me, Alex.
Yeah, I think I'll give him a 9 as well. I think he on the same vein as Dan Byrne. 32 out of 37 passes. All of his aerial duels, 100% aerial duels, just again, I say it every week. He's a 22-year-old playing like he's a 32-year-old.
22-year-old. 22, man.
Crazy, isn't it?
Unreal.
It's like he's come back in the time machine. He should be 32, but he's not. He's 22. He's just
Let's do the time. No, we're not going there again. Billy.
Yeah, 9 for me also. The passes he makes, not just the long ones, it's the short ones he makes through the channels. Sometimes can be dangerous. The vision he's got is fantastic, and he's a great defender also. Yeah, no,
absolutely. Danielle?
9 for me.
Okay. Right, let's move into the midfield now, and we'll start off with Sean Longstaff. I am going to start this off, and I'm giving Sean a 9. Stick that, Mr. Steak. There you go. He gets a 9. Brilliant yesterday. Yes, he gave the ball away a couple of times, but I think what he did with the ball and the effort and the fantastic performance, it just overlaps those times he gives the ball away. So there you go. 9. Billy.
He's my man of the match, so I'm giving him a 10. I thought
wow.
Everything that was bright, he was at the heart of. He was involved in everything we did. He was everywhere on the pitch, covered every blade of grass. I know he gave the ball away a couple of times, but what a performance. 10 out of 10 for me.
Wow. Danielle?
I'm going to back Billy up and give him a 10.
Holy Okay. No problem at all. Alex?
Oh, God. See, I want to give him an 8 for the same reasons Billy said. I agree with everything Billy said. And
Alex, you go with what you want to give. Don't feel peer pressure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I like to give myself room to rate up. And I feel like if he'd have chipped in with an assist or some more, chance creation or scored, then I would have gone with closer to a 10. But I still think an 8 is a cracking score. He did amazing.
Absolutely. So that means on average he gets a 9. So either way, he's had a fantastic game. So well done, Sean. Right, Bruno, Alex.
I think Bruno gets a 9. I think he did, in my eyes, did more than Longstaff did. Just controlling the game. 7 accurate long balls is immense. He's really important to switching it left and right. If we're not using Trippier, we use Bruno to switch it, and he's just incredible. 61 accurate passes. He just does everything. He drew 4 fouls as well. He's just so clever. He just knows when to go down, when to position his body. Because there were a few times where they could have countered, and Bruno just knows how to go down to just completely shut that down. And then we retain the ball, free kick, and we keep going. It's just, I think it's got to be a 9. I think it's a great game.
Indeed. The Toon says, why are you always on Longstaff's back, Paul? Only a 9. Right. Who hasn't given Bruno a mark yet?
Me.
Okay, Danielle?
9.
Fair enough. Billy?
I appreciate we're going for speed now, so I'm saying 9.
Okay. Billy?
Yeah, 9 for me. I thought the fact that Villa decided to put the most creative player as a defensive player on him was ridiculous, and Bruno took the piss out of him, basically.
Yeah. V says, Alex has only given him an 8. The hate is real. I'm going with a 9 for Bruno. He's just a wonderful player. He really is. Right, let's move on to Joseph Willock. Danielle, we'll start with you on Willock.
I'm giving him a 9.
A 9, right?
Just a cracking performance from Joe. I think the only thing with little Joe is he just needs that goal, man.
Yeah.
He just needs it so much. And I feel for him because he's really trying.
Yeah.
But I just think, he's a great player. So 9 for me.
Yep. Alex?
I'm going to give him a 7 for that game. And not that he did anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong.
Danielle's face there.
It's fine.
It's because in recent games, we've seen him constantly overlapping on the wing and getting shots away and being really intricate. And he wasn't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I can give him more than a 7. He didn't do it again. He didn't do anything wrong. I just think the focus of our way of playing's changed slightly because Miggy and certain other players are improving. The onus is not always on Willock, and those final balls we spoke about this last week. Those final balls are not going to Willock. And that's not his fault. He's doing a different role. It'll come. He didn't do anything wrong, but I can't give him more than a 7 in my opinion. So.
Anne makes a good point here. She says, hi, all, great weekend and great results. Just a suggestion, when marking the keeper in this kind of game, why don't you give the keeper an advantage score of all 4 defenders' scores? Just an idea. So what she means is, I don't think she means. I think she means average. So if we gave average of 8s for, so you boost Nick Pope's up to an 8. I get where she's coming from with that.
I get that.
Yeah, it's a good idea actually.
Mm-hmm,
we will bear that in mind for next time, and no doubt about it.
All 4 defenders have a mare, and he keeps the score down.
Well, that's different. What she means is a match like this, Billy, when we've been totally dominant. But fair enough. That's not a bad idea. Where are we now?
Just done Willock, done Bruno.
Billy, Willock.
3 to do.
8 for Willock for me. Integral in the penalty, of course. We forget that. They did lose the ball, but then he won it back fantastically well. Laid it off to Bruno or whoever it was. It might have been Wilson actually to feed Almiron in. It was quiet. It was quieter than the rest of them, but when it mattered, he did come up to the plate. So 8 for me.
I'm going with an 8 as well. I think he's integral and part of that starting 11 now in the squad. He's really stepped up to the plate. And again, Eddie is working with him. You can clearly see that. Right, the front 3. We'll start with Joelinton. Danielle.
My man of the match, I'm giving him a 10.
Yeah,
I just think he's a brilliant player. I think he's great, and I loved the celebration when he scored. You could just see how much it meant to him.
But how much there's a lovely picture on social media of Bruno standing in front of him, screaming at him, saying, "Yes, get in, son." Just incredible. 10 for me as well. I love Joelinton's performance yesterday when I watched it back. I just think he's just a phenomenal beast now who is developing into a player that you can rely on anywhere you put him on the pitch, basically. We know he's not a number 9. I don't think he wants to be a number 9 anymore, quite honestly. I think he loves what he does in that team. And the versatility that if we do make a change, he can step back into midfield. Just brilliant. So 10 for me. Alex?
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 10 as well.
Whoa!
I mean, for the same reasons I mentioned at the start of the show, he's effectively playing in 2 roles right now. He's able to do left wing and midfield, depending on where we need him and what's happening, whether there's a transition. He scored a goal. He got a few nice shots on target. He contributed with tackles in midfield. His passing was much better as well. What was he? 44 out of 50 passes. So 88% pass accuracy, created 2 chances. Just really, really good. Linking well with the team. I loved what he was doing on the left wing as well. I mentioned this earlier. Get to the byline, do a couple of step overs or move the ball, get the cross away. He was getting the cross away every time. And he's not played on the wing for a long time.
Indeed.
So for the fact he's doing winger and a midfielder both equally impressive, it's got to be a 10. And he scored. So 10.
Okay. John Elliott, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says Big Joelinton was class when he took out Mings. Well worth a yellow card. 10 for all the lads. Billy?
4.
Joelinton?
4. The goal he scored, I'll add another point, so I'll give him 10 out of 10. You thought we'd give him 4 out of 10, didn't you?
I did. I was looking at you thinking, what are you talking about? But isn't it funny now? Like Alex gives him a 10 and everyone goes, woo! He is definitely now the Simon Cowell of the player ratings. There is no doubt about that, because even people in the chat are going, wow. Alex gave a 10, and it's like he's either that or he's either Simon Cowell or Craig Gravel Horwood.
He produced the cake, and then the goal was the icing on the cake. That gets the 10. If he hadn't have scored, it wouldn't have been a 10. So
fair enough.
10 out of 10, definitely.
Callum Wilson, Alex.
10 as well. It's got to be 2 goals and an assist, and an impressive performance, and hit the crossbar. Really, really cool penalty. He dropped deep at the right times to link up play. He was in the 6-yard box. I felt sorry for him, because there was a few moves where he was in the 6-yard box and they kept passing it to the penalty spot. And then later on, he moved to the penalty spot and they passed it into the 6-yard. They were doing the opposite, and he could have had a hatful more goals. He was just on it. He was so hungry. 10 out of 10, 100%.
Billy?
Yeah, I echo that. 10 out of 10. Superb performance in front of the England manager as well. I'll be amazed if he's not on that plane to Qatar. Same as Dan Burns, to be honest. I thought he deserves his performance as well. He maybe played nothing to squad.
Yeah. Danielle?
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm going to be extremely, extremely upset with Southgate if he doesn't get on that plane.
There's going to be a lot said about that. 10 for me as well. I mean, it was just his movement is just incredible. And, dare I say it, his movement is better than Harry Kane's. Just without a shadow of a doubt, he knows where to be. His movement is exceptional. Look, he's got to go. He's got to go to Qatar. Simple as that. Right, Miggy on the other side. I will start with Miggy, and it's another 10. I thought the front three were just blisteringly bloody beautiful yesterday. So 10 across the board. Danielle?
10.
Yeah. Alex?
10.
Yeah. Billy?
He could have given the ball away every single time, but for that goal alone, a 10.
There you go. Right, we start with the substitutes now. I'll have to be reminded on these because I can't remember who came on first. Yeah,
Jacob Murphy and Matt Target on 71 minutes.
Right, well, Jacob Murphy for me gets a 9. I thought he was exceptional. Target will get a 7. Danielle?
7 from me.
For Matt Target?
Yes.
What about Murphy?
I'd give him a 8.
Cool. Billy?
7 for Target and 8 for Murphy.
Okay, Alex?
Yeah, same. We actually looked better when Murphy came on and he hit the post.
Yeah. Who was next?
Shelby and Lascelles both came on 83 minutes.
Is that enough time to rate them, do you think?
I'm
not so sure.
They got 10 minutes. I mean, was there anything outstanding? Not really.
Yeah, 7.
And then Maxi and Wood both came on 86 minutes.
Okay, well, Maxi gets a 7 and Wood gets a -10 because he's a bell end. Look, he's rubbish. And you can come at me all you want in the chat. He's rubbish. Simple as that. He is rubbish. He is nowhere near a Premier League striker. He is, I'll say it again, rubbish. Does anyone of you three want to argue with me on that he's rubbish?
I mean, he's looked better when he's come on. Yeah, hang on. He's looked better because when we've seen him come on recently, it's been to try and hold the ball up and win a free kick. Whereas this is the first
does that not just say everything about the way Eddie Howe sees him, though?
Yeah, well,
he doesn't seem as someone that's going to come on and score a goal.
Well, this is the first time we've seen him in that capacity in a long time. This is the first time I've seen him subbed on to try and attack, and it reminded me of what his attacking's like. Because in recent games when he's come on, it's been when we're doing a block and when we're trying to maintain a lead. This is the first time I've seen him come on and attack for a while, and it was poor. It was very poor.
And by the way, I don't mean he's a bellend as a person. I mean he's a bellend as a footballer. Right? There's a difference. Yeah, there's a difference. He could be a lovely bloke. I don't know him personally. I would never call someone a bellend without knowing them. But he is a bellend of a footballer.
From Gabby Abantaho. I mean, he's
Abantaho's just a monumental one at that. Right, Eddie Howe. 10 for me,
10,
Billy.
10.
Yeah, Alex.
Yeah, it's got to be a 10.
Yeah. No doubt about it. John Joe, thank you for your £4.49 super chat. Hi guys, joining a bit late, but did you see the togetherness of the squad when Trippier ran over to give Lascelles the armband? Wow, that's some love. Yeah, and that just says, I mean, you mentioned it before, Billy, but that just says it all about the kind of man that Kieran Trippier is. Right, special mentions, anybody this week? Yes?
I'd like to give my special mention to Darren Eales.
Right.
For when he was standing in the tunnel where the players were coming back in, and he was there to kind of shake everybody's hands and congratulate every single player and every single member of staff, and I thought it was a great gesture. Lovely to see.
Okay. Alex, we will do your graphics, but we'll do that with the loaded lads and get their impressions as well, okay? So don't worry. They are not wasted
today, so
yes, don't worry. They are not wasted. I would never waste your graphical designing skills, Alex. No way. Any special mention now, Billy, Alex?
Yeah, I think Amanda and Merdad, they're fantastic ambassadors for our club, and having Southgate sat next to them, obviously really comfortable in their presence, smiling and joking with them. At one point, Merdad had a child on his knee also. Whether it's their child, I don't know who he is.
I think it was theirs, Billy, to be fair. It's not just some random child that he picked from the crowd.
This is right. I mean, the paternal love there for his son, and just the whole atmosphere around that club is down to them too. It's fantastic. So them two get my
I'm going to give a shout out to Lascelles and Target, because Target was brought in as the main left back and is not getting game time really. And Lascelles is the club captain, and neither of them are throwing their toys out of the pram. They both understand that the togetherness is important. and they're contributing when they need to, and that's vital because they could be throwing a paddy and they're not. So
look, I think whether you're in the team or around the squad, I think it must be a fantastic place to be at the minute, given what's going on. So I think
it's a fantastic place for us, and we're not even part of that.
They're all together. The whole place is together. Paul Bradbury, thank you for your 179 super chat. No, you're right, Paul. He's rubbish. Thank you very much. My special shout out this week is going to go to Katie Barker. She's struggled with goals this season for the ladies team, it's fair to say. Popped up with a fantastic last minute winner. There you go.
And
wonderful stuff.
A shout out to Potsy for the fantastic assist as well. Well done, Charlotte.
Yes,
Trooper.
Indeed. Well, they're all troopers. The whole club is troopers at the minute. It's just an incredible football club to support at the minute because it's been run in the right way. That is the difference, Mr. Ashley, between running it the wrong way and the right way. Interact with the fans, show some ambition, show that you care. The fans will be on board with you. Do it your way. Nah. John Joe, thank you for your £4.49. I don't think Mad Dog Tyndall gets the credit. He deserves special mention, please, for Mad Dog. Well, did I or did I not give him my special recognition last week?
We did. You did.
I did. I give it to Tyndall. So there you go. John Joe, you've got to pay attention, buddy. Anyway,
that was going there, to be fair.
Yeah. I Like Coffee says, I hope to see Katie Barker on the Toon review soon. Well, we're trying. Girls, if you're out there, get in touch. I've sent you messages to come on the show. Come on. Let's really put you guys in the spotlight like you deserve to be. Right, that is it for the review show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for your super chats as normal. We will be back in just under an hour's time with the lads from Loaded to finish your weekend off with a good bit of crack, a good bit of banter, and talking all things Newcastle United and where we see the club finishing, etc. And, of course, Alex's statistical graphics, which we have not forgotten about, but we will put that on the second show tonight. Ab says, no special mention for Longstaff. The plot thickens.
Happy birthday, Sean.
Yeah, well, you did say that earlier on, to be honest, Billy, and we did all go, happy birthday, Sean, but of course, yeah.
It was me that said that.
Alex.
Oh, God. I mean, is it really that important to you, Alex? I mean,
yes.
Talk about, Alex is starting to become the Ronaldo of this channel, isn't he? It's not a team anymore. But there you go. Right. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll see you in an hour's time. Do tune in because it's going to be a good laugh with the Loaded lads, as it normally is. And we'll finish the weekend in the best way possible. So we'll see you in an hour. Take care.
Bye,
well,